Hello everyone, my name is Jimmy and welcome to the last lap. In today's video we're going to be breaking down everything from Road America. Yes, Road America, the traditional 4th of July weekend, the new tradition I guess for 4th of July weekend in NASCAR. We're going to be breaking it down for you guys. But before we hop into it, I just want to remind you guys to hit that like button and subscribe button. We would greatly appreciate it if you did so. It helps us out. We really do appreciate you guys watching our videos. And we took a little bit of a break. We had the week off for Father's Day, and then we didn't post anything for Nashville because I was out of town, and I'm just starting to feel better. I was sick too, so a little bit crazy the past few weeks, but we are back. We wanted to get this Road America review out for you guys, but as always, I have to introduce my friend and co-host Matthew joining me on the show. And, we didn't talk about Nashville last week, and we know what happened last week. So, no matter what happens in this video, my man Chase Elliott did win last week at Nashville. But Matthew, how's it feel to be back on the show after a little bit of a break?
Well, it's great to be back. Sorry for the not uploading too much because I've been settling into this new job, so I'm just trying to get into that groove now. And well, it's great to be back. And happy 4th of July, everyone. I hope everyone has a good holiday. And how you doing today, Jimmy? You doing good? Cause hey, if you're upset, you're having a great car and all, and you blew it away. We can talk this out. We have plenty of time to talk this out together. How you feeling today? You doing good? I just want to make sure you're good before we get this thing started.
First of all, we did not blow it. We did not have the best car at the end of the race. That's not blowing it. But you're one to talk. Where did your driver finish today? I'm gonna have to scroll pretty far down on the list to find where a Toyota finished today.
Hey, don't worry. So. We'll talk. Hey, we're not talking about my guy today. We're talking about your guy. We're talking about your guy today.
I guess it's a good thing we're not talking about your driver today, then, based off his performance. But anyways, let's quickly talk about the Xfinity race, because there was a little bit of controversy in the Xfinity race between Noah Gragson and Sage Karam. They got into it several times on the track, and Noah Gragson decided to take matters into his own hands and dump Sage Karam on the first backstretch. There's like two backstretches at Road America, but he decided to dump him, and that sparked a really big wreck on the back straightaway. A bunch of drivers were involved. Brandon Brown took a pretty hard hit, appeared to knock the wind out of him. He was down for a little bit, but he was checked and released from the care center, so obviously, Noah Gragson should not have done that. Will NASCAR come out with anything? No, they probably will not, but they did talk to him in the hauler afterwards, probably to say, hey, that wasn't the smartest thing you've ever done. So that did happen, and Ty Gibbs ended up winning the race after a very good battle with Kyle Larson, and he did pass Kyle Larson cleanly. I admitted this right away after the race. I told you directly that he passed him clean. Ty Gibbs was kind of going down on my list a little bit in driver's light because of everything in Martinsville and all that, but he gained a little bit of respect back for me. I will give him that. He raced Kyle Larson clean. He could have easily held his line and wrecked Kyle Larson when he came down. They made contact, but he did make the pass cleanly and raced him fair, so Ty Gibbs did gain a little bit more respect back from me. He'll have to continue doing that to gain my full respect back, but it's funny because, this year I'm cheering for Ty Gibbs, Noah Gragson, and AJ Allmendinger, and Ty Gibbs had his incident in Martinsville where he threw a fit over getting wrecked, and then now Noah Gragson has this issue where he dumps Sage Karam out in the middle of nowhere, so I'm like, well, I guess I'm riding with AJ Allmendinger right now until Ty Gibbs and or Noah Gragson get their act together for the rest of this year. But those were the two main things that happened in the Xfinity race. Matthew, you can touch on that later if you want, but I'm going to hop into the Cup recap. Not too much happened today. It's your typical road course race where the end of the stages get a little bit hectic with drivers trying to flip the stage and pit right before pit road closes so they can maintain their track position. Some drivers stayed out and won the stage to get those playoff points and some stage points. But Chase Elliott, he was out front for the first two stages until they flipped them. But right from the bat, Chase Elliott was complaining about some type of steering issue. He was saying when he turned to the right, he was only getting about 70% out of it. And they were talking about coming down pit road and fixing it. in the first stage, and this is while he has like a 7-second lead. So thankfully, Alan Gustafson made the call to not fix whatever it was going on inside that race car. He also like lost his his coolant thing for his water bottle or something, and all kinds of stuff was going wrong for Chase Elliott today, and he was in the lead for most of it. So the fact that he came home with the top 3 after everything he went through is fine with me. But anyways, some incidents that happened throughout the race. Kyle Busch spun early. He got locked it up going into turn 5 and ended up losing control there. Stage 1, Chase Briscoe would win that after staying out. And then an incident between Joey Logano and Bubba Wallace. They both spun going into turn 5, and then later on in the race, Bubba showed his displeasure and ran Logano off the track off of turn 12 or 13, one of those corners. So that was pretty funny to see. Bubba would also spin out again later on in the race in turn 1. Ryan Blaney would win the second stage after the same strategy of staying out to win the stage and all of that. And then at this point of the race, like I said, Chase Elliott had been in the lead for the most time. It was mostly him, Tyler Reddick, and Kyle Larson, the 3 of them at the front of the field for the most part. Austin Cindric was kind of hanging around a little bit. Chase Briscoe was hanging around a little bit as well. But they had to do green flag pit stops in stage 3, and Chase Elliott and Tyler Reddick were 1-2, separated by probably about a second or so. They both pit at the same time, do their pit stops, get out. Chase Elliott squeezes right in front of Tyler Reddick coming off of pit road. That was a pretty close call right there, but from that point on, Tyler Reddick seemed to have the fastest car. I don't know if it was the fact that his car got better or if Chase's car got a little bit worse. Probably the first thing, since the 2 of them still pulled away from the rest of the field. I guess Reddick just got a little bit better than Chase throughout that final run of the race. But Tyler Reddick would take the lead with 17 laps to go, and from there on, he stayed in front. Chase kept it to about a second lead for the most part until the final 3 or 4 laps. Then Reddick really started to pull away. So Tyler Reddick would get his first career win in the NASCAR Cup Series, a 2-time back-to-back Xfinity Series champion, actually. So congratulations to him getting his first career win. As a Chase Elliott fan, it stings a little bit. It seemed like he had the best car for the first 2 stages, but anyways, Tyler Reddick, he had the best car. He won the race. I'm not too mad about it, That is our 5th first-time winner this year. 3 of those being on road courses, all in a row. All 3 road courses we've had is a first-time winner, and that also bumps our winner total up to 13 out of 16. So things are going to get interesting the rest of this summer as we head into the playoffs to see if we hit that 16 or more winner mark. We have a lot of races left. We have Atlanta Superspeedway, quote-unquote, Daytona, we have Watkins Glen, we have Indy Road Course, we have Michigan. We have a lot of tracks up in there that something could happen. But yeah, Matthew, what do you have to say about the Cup race? And then if you want to touch on the whole Xfinity deal, you can as well. But how do you feel post all the action we saw at Road America this past week?
Well, first of all, I thought it's weird for you to put Michigan on that list as a potential different winner. That's just my opinion. That's kind of like the most random track you can think of. But, first, what are you nodding at for? Anyways, let's talk about the Xfinity part first. First of all, I am so happy to see Ty Gibbs be patient for once. We're talking about a Cup Series champion, the reigning Cup Series champion. And Rick Hendrick, this isn't a Junior Motorsports car, even though it probably was helped a little bit by Junior Motorsports, but this is a Rick Hendrick car. The first time they've done that since 2009. And Ty Gibbs was able to show patience. He was able to show, he was able to take his time and trying to make Larson make a mistake. And that paid off. So I'm happy that he was able to pass him clean after recently a lot of controversies with his aggressiveness. But it's great to see him be patient, especially on the last lap too, which I think that's even more impressive that it was the last lap and not 5 laps to go. And then let's get to the Noah Gregson part, in which that was kind of that was ridiculous. I mean, he basically just basically turned him in a high speed area of the course, and also basically made Brandon Brown hurt there. Good thing it wasn't anything too serious, but that could have been a lot worse. And in my opinion, they should have at least held him for at least a lap or two for that one. I mean, I know Rubman's racing and all that. People get paybacks and all that, but when you're wrecking someone on purpose on the high speed area, and someone gets hurt like that, that's when you gotta do something about it. That's just my opinion there. Now I thought Noah Gregson was starting to become a little more mature. I mean, we haven't seen a lot more, incidents or confrontations with him like we've seen like the past couple years with him and his fist fights. But that basically regressed back after this incident. So he's gotta change that. He can't get too overly. I mean, that's the problem with these young drivers now, like Ty Gibbs and Noah Gregson. Extremely talented, the best equipment you can get, and they win a lot. But when something doesn't go their way, they tend to lose their heads and start doing something stupid that would either get someone hurt or basically get themselves in trouble. So that's a little uncalled for in my opinion. But getting into the Cup race, I want to start about Tyler Reddick right here. This was a win that was definitely going to happen, and I'm so glad he's finally got this win, because there's been many times this year that he's gone so close to getting his first win, but something happens. Fontana, he was dominating that race until he cut a tire basically while leading. And then, of course, we knew what happened at Bristol Dirt. He was leading the white flag on the last turn until Chase Briscoe did a dive bomb for the win and took both of them out. So this was great to see for Tyler Reddick. And I was so worried when I saw first Bubba Wallace stopped on the track, and then Austin Dillon, his teammate, blowing a tire. I'm like, they're going to throw a caution, are they? Because especially since this race, nothing too much happened this race, to be honest. I was a little worried that they were going to throw a caution because, hey, we got to get a good finish here because nothing much has happened. But thankfully, they did not. And he was able to basically keep that win. So I'm so happy for Tyler Reddick. The fifth first-time winner, which is amazing to see, especially the first year in this new car. This is kind of reminiscent to the 2011 season, in which we had a lot of first-time winners like Trevor Bayne, then Reagan Smith, David Reagan, and also Marcus Ambrose. This is basically kind of like that season a little bit, except now I think this season has more first-time winners than that season, with Tyler Reddick winning today. And I wonder in the next road course, will we have another first-time winner? Ty Dillon. Probably not, but you know what's crazy? We got 13 winners now this season, and there's only 3 spots left, and there's still like 8 something races left. And next weekend we got Atlanta, which is basically a super speedway, or a mile and a half super speedway, whatever you want to call it now. That's a potential new winner. You still got 2 other road courses, Indy Road Course, in which last year we saw the upset A.J. Allmendinger win, Watkins Glen, and then also Daytona, the ending of the regular season. I'm sorry. So we still got a lot of these wild card tracks here in which we could get new winners, like Eric Jones, who almost won this season if it wasn't for him making a bad move in the last lap. You still got Bubba Wallace, who's really good at super speedways. You still got him. You still got Justin Haley, who's also good on super speedways. You got Michael McDowell, who surprisingly has had a quiet, consistent season. He's not just running on the front of those super speedways. He's actually led laps at tracks like Gateway. He's finished in the top 10 at some of these mile and a halves and short tracks, and especially road courses. So Michael McDowell's still up there. Chris Buescher, he basically showed he can run up front again today by finishing the top 10 after finishing second in Sonoma. So keep an eye on him at Indy Road Course and Watkins Glen. So, and you still got Blaney, Bell, and Truex who haven't won yet, who I think they should be able to win, in my opinion. So my 16 winner prediction's coming true. I think we'll see. But 8 races, 3 slots left. I think we're getting to that 16 winner or plus mark now, especially after today. As for the race today, I thought this race, it wasn't like Sonoma. Like, it was a very impossible to pass at Sonoma. Like, for example, Chris Buescher, I thought, could pass for the lead for Suarez. He couldn't even. I mean, that dirty air basically just took that away from him. But it wasn't like Circuit Americas, where there was a lot of good passing and an amazing finish there. So I thought this race was in between the middle of those 2 road courses this year. I mean, Tyler Reddick basically showed that you could pass at this road course, unlike Sonoma. So I thought this was a pretty good race. Well, a pretty decent race, let's just say that. But yeah, I mean, other than that, nothing much happened. It was basically the Chase Elliott show for the first 2 stages, and then Tyler Reddick basically came out of nowhere. I'm like, man, where did he come from? But I mean, that was a good job on Reddick's part. I mean, they were able to adjust the car and try to get closer, because no one could compete against Elliott today, I'll say that. I mean, he had the best car. I mean, that especially off the get-go. I mean, there were like he had like a 10-second lead before those first stage pit stops. But I mean, I was definitely impressed by Tyler Reddick. He was able to basically continue to make his car better and basically compete against Chase Elliott. So and I was glad there was no caution during that last stage, because I mean, I like to see the battle for the lead go out, because there was a moment there where I thought, oh, Chase Elliott was going to get back to Reddick, and then there was a moment like, oh, Reddick is going to pull away, and then another moment like, oh, it's Chase Elliott closing in again. I like that. I like it when that kind of racing happens, because it's like basically like a guessing game, basically, instead of at the ending being a total wreck fest. So but yeah, overall it was a decent race. But before we get to our ratings, I just don't know what the heck is going on with Joe Gibbs Racing on these road courses. Once again, they continue to embarrass themselves again. You thought Sonoma was bad? I mean, this was just as bad. Now, I would say Martin Truex Jr. may have made some gains there, but come on. Martin Truex Jr. should be running up front with those guys. He's one of the best road course racers over the years. And he was a no-show. Okay, let's talk about the obvious no-show of the group, which is, of course, Kyle Busch, which I will acknowledge, since Jimmy decided to make fun of me for that. I will acknowledge that, because that has to be the most awful Joe Gibbs Racing performance from Kyle Busch, or the worst Kyle Busch performance I've ever seen since he's joined Joe Gibbs Racing. It was that awful. I mean, how in the world? Okay, the weekend didn't even start out well when they had to make an engine change and start at the back. And then they barely moved up at all in the grid, and then he spins himself out for some odd reason when not a lot of people really spun out by themselves today. It was basically just Kyle Busch that did that. And then like a couple other speed penalties. I don't know what happened, because he was so far down the back because his car was that bad. So, and plus he could just see him he almost got lapped by Tyler Reddick during that battle for the lead. So that is the most awful performance I've seen out of that 18 car in a long, long time. and they better trash that car once they get back to the shop and start from scratch, because I don't want to see that car ever again. That was an absolute disgrace to run that paint scheme, especially that same paint scheme was the one during this is like the 4-year anniversary this year of one of the most amazing finishes of all time with him and Kyle Larson, and he was running that scheme today. That was an absolute disgrace. And yeah, that was once again Toyota all full road courses, and they need to get something going. Especially when you have Charlotte Roval in the playoffs, you can't be a no-show in these playoffs, not even one race, because you got to run on front. Especially this year with all these competitive winners and unpredictability and what's the other word? Whatever. You know what I mean. You gotta run. You gotta stay sharp during the whole playoffs this year. And if they run that bad again at Charlotte Roval, I mean, you might see some of those Toyotas be a second round exit basically because of that. So they need to get something going. But anyways, I don't want to take that away from Tyler Reddick. This is Tyler Reddick's big moment today. Congratulations to him. I cannot wait to see if he has more success this year. I hope he does, especially for Richard Childress Racing, since they haven't been the best team since Dale Sr. And their best driver since then has been basically Kevin Harvick. So I'm hoping to see Tyler Reddick start getting some more success, especially this year. And yeah, this was a pretty decent race.
I thought his post-race interview was pretty funny because he shouted out his neighbor or something. They were like, "What's the party gonna be like tonight?" And he's like, "I gotta shout out my neighbor." And I was like, "What?" I was like, "Okay, well, I guess that's cool. I guess his neighbor is famous now."
They got different types of emotions during victory lane. Let's just say that for all drivers.
Yeah, but to your point about the Toyotas, I mean, Truex finished 13th, but I mean, he was never really in the top 10 all day. Hamlin 17th, Bell 18th. Neither of them were really up there. Kurt Busch 23rd. That's funny because Michael Jordan 23. Anyways, but yeah, the Toyotas they've been struggling on the road courses. You better be glad that the playoffs isn't full of road courses because that would not be good for them. But I'm sure they'll bounce back and they'll survive that round. Will they be dominant at the Roval? Probably not, but I'm sure they'll be able to survive at least.
Of course not, especially at this rate.
But yeah, I guess let's go ahead and rate this race. You summed up everything else that I was going to talk about pretty good. So for me, I think I'm going to give it like a 6 out of 10. I like how it was a normal race, quote unquote. Road courses aren't supposed to be full of crashes and everything. It's supposed to be just long green flag runs, pitch strategy, all that stuff playing out. And there was a little bit of drama with the lead, I guess, once Chase Elliott and Tyler Reddick finished their green flag pit stop in stage 3. So I thought it was a solid race overall. I honestly hope they come back to Road America. I heard that it is probably going to get repaved, so hopefully that could help as well. But yeah, I'd love to see them come back to this track. It's the longest track on the schedule, 4 miles long, 14 turns, so it's a very technical racetrack, and I like that, so hopefully it remains on the schedule. But for me, I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. Matthew, what are you going to go ahead and rate the race from Road America?
I'll give it a 7 out of 10 from myself. I thought this was just decent. It wasn't like Sonoma, which was really frustrating how you couldn't pass there. I mean, just compared Daniel Suarez and Chris Buescher battle for the lead versus Tyler Reddick and Chase Elliott today. One of them could pass, the other couldn't. But it wasn't like Circuit in Americas where that race was just way better, in my opinion. So I'll give it a 7 out of 10.
Alright, and also hopping into our fantasy points, since we didn't cover it after Nashville, you took the lead after Nashville. I don't know how I had such a bad week for fantasy in Nashville, but that happened. And then
That's surprising.
Then you beat me by 3 points. This week you got 208, I got 205, so I guess our lineups were pretty similar this week. So you're still in the lead by a little bit. I don't know the exact number because I haven't updated yet, but you are in the lead as we head into Atlanta next week, which is going to be another very unpredictable race. But also very quick, let me go over the schedule for the rest of the season. So we have Atlanta Super Speedway next week, and then we have New Hampshire, Pocono, Indy Road Course, which I will be at, and then Michigan, Richmond, Watkins Glen, and Daytona. So if you think we're going to have 16 winners, I'm going to need that famous little guarantee from you. Am I going to get that guarantee that we're going to get 16 winners? Am I going to get it?
I want to say so, but at the same time, I gotta be careful because I feel like we're still going to get multiple winners during that time. So I just don't know if I can commit to that, but I still bet 16 winners.
That's not the answer the fans wanted to see, but yeah, hopefully
It's hard.
hopefully for entertainment's sake we can get 16 winners, or maybe even 17, but we'll have to wait and see. There's 8 more races on the schedule. It's going to be a packed rest of the summer. Make sure you guys stay tuned to our channel for videos for all of these races coming up, but that's going to go ahead and wrap it up for this video. We hope you all enjoyed it. Our first video back in a while, so hopefully we can get back on the train of uploading twice a week and all that stuff. But we'll see you guys in our next video talking about Atlanta and any other news that comes out. But until next time, we will see you guys in the next one.